Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing with our freshman spotlight series as we take a look back at that 2023 class and talk about some of these kids that will be contributing year one. And we're going back to Norman, Oklahoma. We already talked Jaquez Petaway, the 4-star wide receiver. Now we're going on the defensive side of the ball and talking about the 5-star edge rusher, PJ Adibare, who's enrolled for the spring. You heard a lot of good things, and he's a guy that, as deep as Oklahoma is at that defensive line position, they did a very nice job grabbing guys in the transfer portal. He's going to be someone that's just going to be extremely hard to keep off the field. He is a different level of athlete. There's a reason he was a top 10 national recruit. What I want to talk about, though, is there was this narrative around PJ that he's a project guy, a guy with crazy traits that's going to need a year or two to kind of put it together at the next level. And I agree that the upside, he's not even scratching the surface of what he can be as a pass rusher. That being said, I don't think he's the project that a lot of people think. And a lot of that has to do with these evaluations on these recruits. A lot of that have to do with the junior year film and sometimes even the sophomore year film. He's a guy that when you turn on the senior year film, you see a more physically developed pass rusher that is a guy that has that physicality that can contribute year one. So we're going to get a look into the senior film, going to talk a little bit about where he fits into this Oklahoma front in their rotation. Before we do, though, again, just want to say thank you to the Sooner fans. You guys have been rocking with the boys in a big way, showing a ton of love. We just talked Zion Raggins, who committed to Oklahoma yesterday. All the support you guys have shown the fellas definitely means a lot. We got Taylor Tatum potentially committing later on this week. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas like you guys have. Now let's get into PJ Adibare. And again, I think it starts with he's up to 240 pounds. I don't think he's that far off from being a guy that steps on a college football field in the Big 12 and making a serious impact. And you go back, and I think the biggest thing you can do is just look at the film, right? And you're going to see a guy that is physically developed his senior year. And he's, again, a guy, 7-foot wingspan, 10-inch hands, has all those traits physically. You're going to see him like on this rep right here. He's going to attack that outside shoulder of the tackle using that burst, but he also has that speed to power, that physicality that is going to allow him to contribute year one, right? I mean, you're going to see like this tackle needs to respect that speed, and he goes speed to power right into that outside shoulder and absolutely puts the tackle in the dirt. Again, I think his main juice, his main skill set is that burst and bend on the line of scrimmage. But when you turn on the senior year film, you see that physicality that I think is going to allow him to play early for the Sooners. Another thing that you just love, and this is like the motor on this kid, like he never gives up on plays. And you see like the closing speed this quarterback tries to keep it. There's just not many quarterbacks that are going to be able to escape PJ Adibare in terms of the length that he brings. He's just such an exciting player that, again, I do think that I wouldn't call him a project because he's already a guy that's a stud at football, but he's a guy that you get him into the program, it's really hard to see him not being a first-round talent in the next couple of years. And again, that's where you see that speed to power again popping up. So much to like about what he brings to the game as a pure pass rusher. Now I think the conversation is, now that I think we have that narrative, and you see the motor again, I mean, the closing speed is absolutely insane. This is where it matters. And when we talk about this, we talk about two things about guys contributing year one. One, are they physically mature enough to step on a football field and and make plays? I think PJ Adibare is a lot more physically gifted right now than a lot of people give him credit for. Like, he's up to 240 pounds. He is rocked up. Like, he is a strong dude. The second part is, how does he fit into this Oklahoma Sooners rotation that looks a lot different than 2022? I mean, Brent Venables, it starts at the defensive line for Brent Venables and his defense. Like, that defense is predicated on getting pressure on the quarterback, getting negative plays, forcing turnovers. You look back to his time at Clemson, that's where it started. It's where it's going to start now. And I think Brent Venables, you wanted to get a little bit more talent and depth on this defensive line. And you even see what he did in the transfer portal, bringing in guys like Rondell Brathwaite, Jacob Lacey, Devon Spears, Trace Ford. And then you also see who is prioritizing the 2024 class. Our Oklahoma's two top targets, Williams Emuneri and David Stone, both on the defensive line. Where does PJ fit into this Oklahoma rotation? And I say, and this is kind of my take on it, I don't think he'll play a lot of first and second down. And I don't think he's going to be horrible against the run, but I think a guy like Rondell Brathwaite, who's pushing 270 pounds, a guy like Ethan Downs, who's played a lot of football at a high level. Those are the guys that you'll see on first and second down. If you can win first and second down with all that depth on the defensive line, with two really good linebackers in Danny Stutzman and Jaron Kanek, when it comes to third and long, I think PJ Adibare is going to be a guy that is really tough to keep off the football field. Because in terms of just, hey, we're going to ask you to pin your ears back, get off the line of scrimmage, and go tackle the quarterback. I don't know if there's a guy on this Oklahoma team that has the upside PJ Adibare does have with that burst bend, how he can go speed to power, how he can close on quarterbacks. So I see him kind of being a guy that, yes, I think maybe not playing on first and second down because you might have some better options at stopping the run during year one of PJ's career. But when it gets to third and long, and you can maybe kick a guy like Rondell Bothroyd inside, maybe play that 3-tech, bring in a guy like PJ on the outside, that's where I think he can play. And that's where I think he can provide a ton of juice. And you look back at Oklahoma, only 2.2 sacks per game. That is 64th nationally. When you look back at Clemson's defense, when Brent Venables was there, I mean, those are top 10 groups consistently. I think Oklahoma is trending that way. If you want a little bit more juice, a little bit more reinforcement in terms of getting sacks, in terms of getting negative plays, forcing turnovers, PJ Adibare is a guy that I think will find the field. And again, I don't know if he'll start. In fact, I don't think he'll start. But he's going to be a guy that is going to be playing and playing significantly for the Sooners year one. Not nearly the project a lot of people think he is. Can't wait to see this kid, not only in 2023, we talk about 2024 and 2025. I think we are talking about kind of a generational type pass rusher in PJ. What a good get for Brent Venables and the boys. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with us. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.